You're listening to the Sports Brothers podcast by Sam and Brian Dostal. Everything sports, all the time.
Hello and welcome to the Sports Brothers podcast with your host for today, Brian Dostler, as my brother Sam. He is balling it out at the local YMCA in Plainville, just down the street from us. And I'm here just resting for the game that I'm pitching in today for our Plainville Senior American Legion game. So that's why I'm not there. And I'm doing the podcast here. Today is July 9th, not the 7th. Yeah, today's July 9th, 2014. And it is 12:01 p.m. Eastern Time. And last night, Sam and I, along with our parents, took a day trip to Boston. We took a ferry boat to St. George's and Spetzel Island, which are two islands off the Boston Harbor. It was a beautiful day. The boat was nice. You could feel the breeze and just being on the water. So we visited Fort Warren on St. George's, which was a fort used during the Civil War. And it was pretty cool. Good. It was very well protected. I think it was very well made for the Civil War by the Union. And then we went to Quincy Market and got some dinner there. I had my Philly cheesesteak, as I always do there. I'm not sure what the actual restaurant's called, but I always like it, so that's my usual there. And then we went to the Red Sox game at Fenway Park, which unfortunately the Red Sox fell to the White Sox 8-3. And we'll get a little more into the Red Sox later in the show and how they've really just been terrible this season. Really, you could say a championship hangover after winning the World Series last year. And before we get started today, I just want to let everyone know out there that if you have any suggestions or anything that you want to be put on the show, please tweet us at our Twitter page at Sport Brothers. You can text, call, whatever with Sam and I. Let us know because we want. Obviously, it's difficult with the podcast, recorded podcast. It's difficult to get your audience involved. But, we do see how many views we get for each show. Last was 11. So, it's kind of the average around there, give or take. And so we appreciate that. So if you want your voice, just let us know. And, we'll tell everyone your opinion. Or you can give us a topic to talk about. And we'll tell the audience that it was your topic to talk about. So excuse me, please let us know. Now for today's topics, a lot to talk about with the NBA and free agency. It's going to be the top of the talk for the next few weeks now, for the next few shows. So we're going to keep you tabs on that with LeBron, Carmelo. There's a new trade happening this morning, so we'll let you know about that. Brazil, they just got absolutely embarrassed by Germany yesterday in the semifinal for the World Cup. And then we're going to be doing a little pretenders and contenders for the MLB, the All-Star Games, and trade rumors, and that will conclude our show for today. So first, we're going to get off with a little bit of breaking news, as this trade was just reported about a little over an hour ago, almost 2 hours, an hour and a half, we'll say, an hour and a half. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Boston Celtics, they were in a 3-team trade. And folks, this is really starting to look like LeBron James may end up back in Cleveland, as the Brooklyn Nets, they get point guard Jarrett Jack from the Cavaliers, along with shooting guard Sergei Karasev, who is in his second year of his rookie contract. And it looks like Jarrett Jack, he will be replacing Sean Livingston at the point guard position. The Celtics this is a very good trade for the Celtics. They get shooting guard Marcus Thornton from the Nets, who averaged 13 points a game for his career, 9 games last year with the Nets. Power forward Tyler Zeller, who's obviously still young, could be a third year from Indiana. And then a future first-round draft pick from the Cavaliers. So another first-round draft pick for the Celtics. But this trade is all about what the Cavaliers are getting rid of. They're getting rid of the contracts of Jack and Karasev, which will give the Cavaliers $21.7 million in cap space for LeBron James. The idea of LeBron James going back to Cleveland, I'm not sure if this world, the sports world, Twitter world, could handle it. And the Cavaliers are also receiving one future second-round pick from either the Celtics or the Nets to complete the trade. Not sure which team will give that up, but just wow, really. I mean, awkward though for Cavalier fans, don't you think? I mean, Dan Gilbert, who so famously a few days after LeBron went to decide he was going to go to Miami, he had an open letter to LeBron James promising the Cleveland fan base that the Cleveland Cavaliers would win an NBA championship before LeBron James would in Miami. Oops. All those Cleveland fans burning their number 23 Cleveland Cavalier jerseys with LeBron James on it. Oops. All the witness posters, all the billboards, everything being torn down, trashed down. Oops. Because it really looks like Chris Broussard just about 20 minutes ago went on SportsCenter and gave the Cleveland Cavaliers an 85% chance of essentially re-signing or signing LeBron James. Wow. Again, for the three reasons why I just mentioned, with LeBron going to Cleveland, I'm not sure if this world could take it. I mean, he's going back to the place that loved him and hated him, and now should love him again. I mean, obviously, if LeBron goes back to Cleveland, I'm sure the Cleveland fan base will welcome him with open arms. And I got SportsCenter on right now. It's muted, but I'm just looking at my Twitter feed and looking back on SportsCenter with what could potentially be happening. That way I can break it to you as soon as possible. But it seems like LeBron is going to be signing even with whatever team before he goes to Brazil for the World Cup final. That's going to be Sunday, this coming Sunday, so 5 days away. So we could be seeing a huge domino effect of these big-time free agents and what they're going to be doing next season and what jersey they're going to be wearing. The Cavaliers are also pursuing Ray Allen, and they're pursuing Mike Miller. Those are two players that obviously played with LeBron James in Miami. And then, Carmelo Anthony, it's reported that he is waiting to officially tell the world who he's going to sign with once we all find out where LeBron's going. And then that's going to bring up Chris Bosh. He was offered a 4-year, $88 million deal from the Rockets a few days ago, and it seems like he's looking to take that deal. Wow, just a huge domino effect, and really this is almost like a storm that just keeps brewing and brewing and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, LeBron is meeting with Pat Riley later tonight for dinner in Las Vegas. Is Dwayne Wade going to be there? I think he is going to be there. I don't think Bosh. I think it's LeBron and Wade and Pat Riley. Pat Riley, obviously, the president for the Miami Heat, and he certainly, with his mastermind, could sway maybe him back to Miami, LeBron James back to Miami. But at this point, from reports, it seems all eyes are pointing to LeBron going back to Cleveland. And really, I mean, good for LeBron. I mean, it is good for LeBron that if he would go back to Cleveland. We'll talk about that if he actually does go back to Cleveland. That's a whole nother storyline if he does. But just wow. I mean, but the domino effects that this will happen once LeBron decides where he's going. It really seems like it's either Cleveland or back to Miami. It doesn't seem like the Knicks are in the running. It doesn't seem like the Lakers are running. The Rockets, Chicago. It doesn't seem like anyone else. It's either back in Akron or back in South Beach. And it just keeps with this trade happening earlier this morning. It just seems more likely and likely that LeBron is going back to Cleveland. And I think it would be good. I do. But we'll get into that once that happens. Some other NBA free agency news. Gordon Hayward will reportedly sign a 4-year, $63 million max contract with the Charlotte Hornets. Hayward in a contract year with the Utah Jazz last year averaged career highs in points, 16.2, assists 5.2, steals 1.4, and rebounds 5.1. This is a very good signing for Charlotte. They obviously have Kemba Walker. They got Al Jefferson. Josh McRoberts is gone. He's signed with Miami, who we'll touch up in about 30 seconds. But I think this is a very good sign for Gordon Hayward. Again, coming off his best professional season, coming out of Butler, I think this is a good fit for Hayward. And then I just mentioned Josh McRoberts. He signed a 4-year, $23 million deal with Miami Heat. Danny Granger also signed with Miami, 2 years, $4.2 million. these signings happened about, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago now, and that's, a sign there for Heat fans that be like, oh boy, you know, LeBron and the big three aren't going to be here next year. Now, Dwayne Wade, who really haven't had a whisper about where he's going to end up next year, he's also a free agent. He's obviously spent his whole entire NBA career in Miami. He won the NBA championship in 2006 with Shaquille O'Neal when they beat the Dallas Mavericks, but haven't heard anything about him. But it seems like he would stay Miami, regardless of what happens. That's just as of right now. I mean, that could change, subject to change, but nothing about Dwayne Wade. Obviously right now, if he does eat dinner with Pat Riley and LeBron James tonight in Las Vegas, certainly he would be persuading him to come back to Miami. I mean, that's obviously what he would be doing. But just wow. I mean, NBA fans, sport fans, get ready because the next couple days, or the next 3-4 days, are going to be pretty hectic. Once one guy signs, it's going to be a huge domino effect. Because if Carmelo's waiting, Chris Bosh is waiting. I mean, those two were actual teammates on the same NBA franchise. Carmelo and LeBron, they're both they're good friends. Playing the Team USA, they've played together on teams like that. But Bosh is waiting for LeBron as well. Because when you're offered 4 years, $88 million. Let's talk about Chris Bosh. If he were to go to Houston, I think that'd be a good fit. They already have Dwight Howard, obviously. He'd be going along with Chandler Parsons, Jeremy Lin, whatever. Dwight Howard, James Harden, and just the thing with Chris Bosh, I think he's a better fit potentially in Houston than he was in Miami because in Miami, he was the guy to get all the rebounds and to be the big man presence. When he's in Houston, Dwight Howard has that. Now Chris Bosh has even more flexibility to stretch the floor, go out to the perimeter because he was so criticized throughout the playoffs, especially the NBA Finals, for chucking up all those threes, not being on the block, trying to get those rebounds. Now you got Dwight Howard on the block. So now you have that ability to stretch the floor, go to your corner, your favorite spot, and knock down that three-pointer. And I think that just elevates his games even more because he can't hit the outside shot. People were criticizing for that, but this guy can make the three-point shot. He really can. It's just when he misses it, and since he's a big, that's when he gets criticized for it. But with Dwight Howard there, he can clean up his misses. And then he's gonna knock down some shots. So I think this could be a very good fit for Chris Bosh. Now, I mentioned Gordon Hayward, Paul Pierce. It looks like he's gonna be staying in Brooklyn as the Nets are not interested in a signing trade with the Clippers. Although I think that'd be an excellent fit for Paul Pierce in Los Angeles. But unfortunately, it looks like he'll be staying in Brooklyn. So. All right, well, that's going to do it for NBA free agency for now. But certainly this will be a very hot topic as it has been the last, 2 weeks. Well, really, I mean, Sportsman's been blowing up since since the day he signed Miami, knowing that this would be happening. But in the beginning, when the big three first opted out, I said, and I was part of some. I mean, and obviously there's some people saying he's going to go to Cleveland or whatever, but I was one of the I was in the group of people believing that the big three, they're opting out of their contracts so that they can restructure their contracts, take some even more pay cuts, and go back to Miami and try to do it all over again. It really doesn't seem like that way, does it now? I mean, from the looks of it, it looks like that it's going to be Bosh to Houston and LeBron to Cleveland and Dwayne Wade stay in Miami maybe, but just really, I mean, that was what, 2 weeks ago. How much in so little time that can change your perspective on what happens there. So that's going to do it for NBA free agency. Now on to some World Cup. And boy, oh boy, did Germany spank Brazil yesterday 7-1 in the first semifinal of the World Cup. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch it because we were in Boston. But we did take a break in a hotel near the Boston Harbor, and we saw the score, and it was 4-0 Brazil at the 28th minute, and that was shocking. Or I think it was the 23rd minute, and then Brazil scored at the 26th minute or something like that to go 5-0. It was just wow. In the 10 minutes that we watched the game, Germany was just dominating time of possession. Just the ball was all on their side of the field. And really, I mean, you have to point to the reason being because they didn't have their star Neymar and they didn't have their captain Thiago Silva, who had 2 yellow cards and couldn't play. He would have been able to play in the final, but obviously they didn't get there. They weren't even close. But Germany, they're going to try for their 4th World Cup championship trophy, whatever they call it for soccer. And they're going to be facing the winner of the Netherlands and Argentina, which will be later today, 4 o'clock. But just Brazil, it's the largest host team. It's the largest loss for a host team in World Cup history, and 7-1, 6 goals. I mean, and they just never really had a chance, did they? I mean, the defense. I mean, again, I didn't watch the game, but I mean, just by the score, you can tell the defense just wasn't there. And without the leadership of Neymar and Silva, they just didn't have it. And it's really I do feel bad for Brazil. I was rooting for them to win it now that since the U.S. was out, but just and when it's a 23rd minute, and your team's down 4-0 already, and you're a fan there watching it, or you're watching at home on TV or whatever. I mean, watching sports right now. There's fans just crying. They live for this once every 4 years, but you're there and you're in shock. Like I can't imagine. Unfortunately, the TV was on mute, so we couldn't hear the crowd or anything. But I have to imagine that it was like silent, like dead silent, in the stands. But just wow. I mean, Brazil. To get to the semifinals. And just really to come up short just like that. But it is unfortunate without having Silva and with Neymar breaking his 3rd vertebrae in his back. But, hey, I mean, they can try again in 4 years from now, but it certainly is unfortunate. All right, now to some Major League Baseball, as the MLB All-Star starting lineups and rosters were announced last Sunday. And for some reason, Derek Jeter is in a little bit of a controversy. He didn't do anything. I'm not speculating that at all. But there are some people out there that believe Derek Jeter should not be the starting shortstop for the American League in this All-Star game next Tuesday. You're crazy. Now, this wasn't even, an argument, controversy to me until one of my friends, Mike Cosentini, tweeted saying on Twitter saying it's not right for Jeter to be starting the All-Star game. So I tweeted back at me, we argue back and forth. We're blowing up our people's timelines probably about 15 times. It was quite some time. Then I ended up calling him. We debated some more, and what he was saying was Derek Jeter. He's saying 280 this year, with I think he has like 25 RBIs. He doesn't deserve because of his play this season. And I said okay. All right, fair enough. But what has Derek Jeter done over the course of his career? He's a 6-time world champion. He has over 3,400 hits, and he's a 5-time Gold Glover. And he is one of the nicest guys ever to walk and play this game. That's why you start him. I don't care what the guy's in. I don't care if he's hitting 175 and playing every day for the New York Yankees. He is your American League. When you know he's retiring this season, this is his last year, you better give him that starting shortstop position. You better give it to him. I mean, he's saying that Escobar from the Royals and Ibar from the Angels, they have the better candidates. But honestly, who would rather, if you're a fan, would you rather see Derek Jeter or Eric Ibar as a starting shortstop in the All-Star game? Let's be real here. You can't compare their careers. If you really want to compare this one season, okay. But if you look at the grand scheme of things, Derek Jeter is one of those few guys that you just give it to him. He's done so much for the league, and again, Mike and people that are against Derek Jeter for starting are saying, you have to reward the players that are doing well this season. It doesn't matter what you did in the past. It matters what you did this season. Okay, great. It does matter, though. That's how it works. He's mentioned Kobe Bryant. Should he have got, he didn't play a game or he played like 6 games and he was voted to start in the All-Star game. Again, that's because of what he's done in the past. He's going to get those votes. The fans like him, and he's going to get those votes. Then again, Mike was saying, the voting system is flawed a little bit because the fans have way too much say. But again, he's saying let the coaches and players decide. But let's be honest, I think the coaches and players would also vote for Derek Jeter as well. My dad, he's going to be fortunate enough to be at this All-Star game next Tuesday. So this is just going to be one of the great scenes in Major League Baseball history. You look at Mariano when he came on in the All-Star game last year at Citi Field, and the ovation he got. When he came in to enter Sandman, the band was actually there, and then the ovation he got when he came off. Just really, and then obviously his last appearance at Yankee Stadium was just goosebumps, and if you're a Yankee fan, tearful. But he's saying put him in the later part of the game. Mike does believe that he does belong on this All-Star team, but he doesn't think he should start. Now, if maybe you could argue if the shortstops in the American League are, every year All-Stars and hitting well over 300. But that's not the case. It's not the case. J.J. Hardy's hitting 288. Alcides Escobar 287. Alex Ramirez 282. Jeter's hitting 269. Okay, he's hitting 269. I said 280 earlier. He's hitting 269. It does not matter what he is hitting. It's what he's done in the past, and that's what people are saying it's not fair. But let's be honest. Would you rather have Derek Jeter or J.J. Hardy as your starting shortstop for the American League? What are you going to remember more? Okay? Now, it's not fair to those players because it's an honor to be a starter. Okay, but honestly, get over it. It's Derek Jeter. It's his last All-Star game, and at this point, you expect him to be there. It's going to be his 9th All-Star start. You expect him to be there, and you can't see anyone else being there. Now, another thing is, Mike saying, there's other people voicing, the same opinion as me. Now, there's not going to be, when you think about it, there's not going to be people going to Twitter that are on my side and saying, oh, yep, Derek Jeter starting his 9th All-Star game at shortstop for the AL. They're not going to be doing that because that's what's expected. That's what should be happening. It's the people that are on the other side and saying, that's not right, blah, blah, blah. Then those people come to the surface of people like me coming to the surface defending Derek Jeter. But, the people that are on Derek Jeter's side, they're not going to go to Twitter and say, like I just said, oh, yep, Derek Jeter starting shortstop for the AL. They're not going to because, again, it's expected. This is where I really wish I had an audience where I could get a caller in right now and just, if they want debate, because I really like debate. To be a sports radio guy, you have to like to debate, and I really like debating. And this and when I'm going to rant about the Red Sox are, two passionate things that I can really go at you with it. I could bring up all these stats, and everything that I think I could, win this argument. Unfortunately, I didn't win Mike's opinion, but it bothers me that some people don't think he should be the starting shortstop, and I'm a Red Sox fan. So I honestly don't get that. All right, so now we're going to play a little game called Pretenders and Contenders, and I'm going to say a team name, and then I'm going to let you folks know if I think they're a pretender for the playoffs or if they're a contender for the playoffs. I got 5 teams, 3 in the American League, 2 in the National League, and I'm going to go through them. Boston Red Sox. It's got pretenders written all over it. Went to the game last night. Okay. Brandon Workman pitched for the Red Sox. 1-2-3 first inning. Okay. Second inning, then bottom of the first inning, the Red Sox have bases loaded, 1 out. Johnny Gomes grounded into a 5-4-3 double play. Okay. So there's that. So top of the second inning, and Brandon Workman, he walks the leadoff man. And as a pitcher, you can't do that because the leadoff man, he scores 75% of the time. Leadoff walk, according to Ted Williams. And then a couple hits. And then all of a sudden, it's bases loaded, no outs for the Blue Jays. Ground ball to Mike Napoli at first base. He fields it. Goes to put the ball in his hand from his glove. The ball pouts out loose. Gets away from him. Run scores. Would have been a 3-2-3 double play. It would have been a double play. At least 1 out would have been made at home plate. The White Sox get 1 more run. The next play was a ground ball to Pedroia. They turned 2. Again, it was still bases loaded, no outs. They turned 2. 2-0 White Sox. End the inning, down 2-0. After the second inning, Workman could have gotten out of it with no runs. Okay, so then they go up 3-0. The Red Sox tie it in the 5th. They score 3 runs to tie it 3-3. And I tell my dad, who's sitting next to me, I said, Workman now needs to throw up a goose egg. He needs to. These are the innings that are important because your team just got the runs back and tied the game. Okay, it's 3-3. Now you need to get your team back in the dugout as quick as possible and get those bats swing because they were getting some good at bats off John Danks. They were getting some good swings off him, some hard hit balls, even some of the outs. I mean, Ortiz, him and Mookie Betts, they both had warning track power shots a couple times. Ortiz did it twice. Mookie did it once, actually maybe even twice too as well. So you have to throw up a goose egg and get the hitters back up to the plate for the Red Sox. So what does he do? Okay. 2 outs, nobody on. Double. Okay. All right. Okay. Next batter. Home run. 5-3 White Sox. There goes all the momentum. And really, what turned out to be, the hope of the Red Sox to win that game. That's part of the problem the Red Sox have. They are 39-51, 10.5 games out of the American League East. And this team won the World Series last year. How, at this point, it looks like? I don't know. It's very frustrating. They're finding themselves in holes and deficits that, they didn't have last year. Obviously, Shane Victorino, he's been out of the lineup. He's only played, I think, 25 games this year. That's a big part of the reason why they're not doing so well this year. Pedroia, he's not producing as much as he has been in past years. I could go on and on about this. But just some trade rumors with the Red Sox. Felix Dubron, Jake Peavy, definitely. Peavy reportedly with the Braves, the Dodgers, and the Cardinals. Some suitors for him as they're trying to get a back of the guy rotation in their pitching rotation. But just the Red Sox really struggling, and it looks like they're contenders right now. It's difficult. It's frustrating. But they're in last place in the American League East, which really is surprising. I honestly thought that last season was going to be like this season, and last season was going to. And this season will be like last season. So I expected the Red Sox to be in contention for the World Series this year. Last year, no. But it seems like it's flipped. I've been hearing John Lesser, John Lackey for trade talks. Don't trade either of those guys, Boston. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. Because again, as Ben Cherington said, we're not building for the future. We're reloading for next season. So then don't give away your ace and, really your second ace in Lackey. Please just don't do it. All right, so our next team is the New York Mets. And I'm going to give them as contenders for now. Right now, they are 41-49. They're 8 games back. They're on a 3-game winning streak. and they have taken the first 2 games against the Atlanta Braves. They won last night 8-3 in New York. Tonight, Dylan Gee, he'll be pitching against Irvin Santana. As they look for, it's a 4-game series, so they're trying to at least win the series tonight. But this is a team that the other night against the Braves, Ruben Tejada, walk-off single. Juan Lagares, who is a player that I absolutely love. I mean, he's been hitting well. John Neese, he did just go on the DL with with shoulder pain as he had a line drive off. I guess I thought it was his ribs, but they're saying shoulder. But they got some young good talent. They got Dan Wheeler. They got they got these guys that I think could. I'm saying contenders for now. I'm saying for now. Daniel Murphy, he was their all-star this year in 295. Granderson, he's been swinging the bat better. He's only hitting 237, but his home run, 14 home runs, is kind of what I expected. Lucas Duda, Juan Lagares mentioned 288, and then they got Bartolo Colon as their ace of the staff. There's even rumors that he might be traded somewhere, which he signed a 2-year contract in the offseason, so he'll be there next year with Matt Harvey. I think you should hold on to Bartolo Colon because he has pitched in the postseason. He pitched in the postseason last year with the A's. Just imagine if they had Bartolo Colon this year. Wow. Anyways, but I do like where the Mets are going. Again, I have them contenders as now. Maybe next Wednesday I have them as pretenders. But right now, I really like this Mets team, and I have them as contenders at 41-49, 8 games back of the AL East. And actually, let me see what the wild card standings would be for the Mets and the Red Sox. Well, the Red Sox, they're 10 out, so it's the same ordeal. Oh, Mets, they're 8 games out too as well. Okay, so not much difference there at all, really. But now to the San Diego Padres, who on our last podcast we talked about how they just couldn't hit, how they hit 171 in the month of June, and then they couldn't hit, or then they did hit their first couple games of July. But again, this is a team that is 30th in batting average at 215, 30th in runs. They've only scored 269. Their pitching is solid, 3.20, fourth in Major League Baseball, but I just don't see it happening this year for San Diego. They got Tyson Ross, a very good starting pitcher for them as their ace, but I just don't see anything happening again with the division they're in with the Giants and the Dodgers, who right now the Dodgers have taken over first place. The Giants are struggling a little bit as they've lost 2 in a row. They're 3-7 in their last 10 games. But the Dodgers are up 1 game on the Giants, and then San Diego, they're 10 back. There's some reports were saying, should the Padres be, selling or trying to build a playoff team. Some reports I'm hearing they're trying to dump Houston Streets and Joaquin Benoit, to try to get prospects, to try to get younger guys into the organization. So I got the Padres as pretenders, for right now. The Seattle Mariners. You don't hear about them too much with us being on the East Coast, but right now they're 49-41. They're 8 games back in the AL West. And, of course, they have Robinson Cano, who signed that big contract from the New York Yankees last season as he's leading the team in batting average at 319. Kyle Seager, the third baseman, leading the team in RBIs and home runs, 13 home runs, 15 RBIs. And then their pitching, obviously, they got Felix Hernandez, who has been spectacular this season, 10 wins, 2.11 ERA, 145 strikeouts, and then something that they didn't have in past years was the dominant closer, Fernando Rodney, 26 saves. So looking good there. And I think this team, again, this could be a scenario where the Mariners, they're 8 games out now. Next Wednesday I could be saying they're pretenders. But for right now, the Mariners, I think, 49-41. They haven't been this good in quite some time, but look for the Mariners to be pushing for the play. And I think they'll try to make moves to get in the postseason. They haven't really been in this good a position for quite some time, as I mentioned. But then look at the wild card standings. I think it'll be the same theory. Or right now they're tied for. They would be in the playoffs. So they're 2 games up on Toronto for the American League wild card. So they would be in the playoffs. So certainly they're going all in for their. That's a lesson to me. Make sure I know all my info before I talk. And the Tampa Bay Rays, they're 8.5 out of the wild card, 9.5 of the AL East, and this team seemed to be finished 2 weeks ago. Now they still have a hefty climb to do, but they're on the right track. They won last night. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games, and they seem to be on the uprise. Joe Madden, he's getting this team. He's getting this team rejuvenated again, and just wow. If they come back here and make the playoffs, I mean certainly. You can lock that up as AL Manager of the Year. But David Price pitching well, Ben Zobrist hitting well, Evan Longoria. I mean, these guys they're starting to mesh. And watch out for the Tampa Bay Rays because I think that they could sneak their way into the postseason or be in the top 4, top 5, make a good playoff push run. All right, well that's going to do it for today's podcast. Thank you for listening to the Sports Brothers Podcast. Again, I'm Brian Dostler. Sam, he is balling out at the YMCA as I'm resting for my baseball game later today. And you can listen to our past shows or our current show off our website, thesportsbrothersblog.wordpress.com. And I'm starting to, again, with the feedback, I posted a thing on Facebook and then our Twitter page saying, what are your thoughts on Derek Jeter starting the All-Star game? That way, I can say, okay, this person said this person said that, and we can respond to you. That's kind of the way it's going to go. When I get to school at Eastern Connecticut, when I have a radio show, for all you listeners out there, you can call in whenever you want about your opinion, and it'll be live, and we can give immediate feedback and have a little debate if you want, or just get your opinion out there, whatever you choose, that's fine with me. So again, you are listening to the Sports Brothers Podcast. Have a wonderful day.